And did you know that this game was supposed to be a Lord of the Rings themed game? Hey, it's Caravan Dan from Gaming Caravan. Today we're going to do Before You Buy Covenant, a new worker placement game from Devir. Now, I didn't plan on doing any more Before You Buy videos I weren't contractually obligated to do, but this one spoke to me so much, and I'm such a fan of it that you're going to hear some really good things about this game, and I am in love with it. There's a really weird thing where every single time I do a video about a top 10 mechanic list, the same week, if not the next day, I play a game with that mechanic that I'm like, oh crap, I should add to my top 10. This is such a fantastic game. And that's what this one is for worker placement. Before we get started, do me a favor, tell me your favorite worker placement games and tell me what you're drinking. I'm drinking some water with Mio. I've been drinking about 3 liters of water a day, which is absolutely insane considering it's not soda. So let's go ahead and get started. The publisher of this game is Devir. If you don't know, I love Devir and I work with them, but they did not send me a copy of this game. I would know that because I would have played it so fast. The box is beautiful. The overview for this game is effectively we all run a dwarven clan and we're all trying to evolve them throughout about 4 ages, because or eras, because dwarves live for such a long period of time that after every single era there's a scoring metric. You're trying to gain favor with the king. Whichever clan has most favor with the king wins at the end of the game. The audience for this game, I would say, are medium worker placement fans. This is a solid medium weight game. I can't even say it's like light medium or medium heavy. This is just flat in the middle, medium weight worker placement game. A lot of stuff going on, but not complicated. The hook for this game is effectively if you like upgraded personal worker placement spots, because all the worker placement spots you're doing are on your personal board that can be evolved and added to over time. The price for this game is $70 MSRP, which is slightly on the higher side from what I expected. The details of this game, the players, you can play between 1 and 4 players, and I like it because in the 2-player mode I played in, you don't have to do a variable setup. If you don't know, I hate variable setups for player count. It's why I don't play Jerusalem and I never want to play Jerusalem again, which is another game by Devir. And I'm a Christian, huge fan of Christian games. They're actually good. I won't play it again because every single game has a completely different setup, and I can't stand that. But this one, all you do is on a 2 to 4, on a 1 to 2 player game, you play on one side of the board. On a 3 to 4 player game, you play on the other side of the board, and you set up whatever you need to set up. It's very simple, very easy. You don't have to remember, it's like, oh, only set up the first 3 rows in a certain player game, the last 3 rows in a 4-player game, 2 different rows in a 5-player game. I hate that. The weight for this game is 3.6 out of 5. I was surprised that this was only technically 2 or 0.2, 0.3 points away from Shackleton Base, which is a significantly heavier game, which is why I say Shackleton Base is honestly like more of a 4 than it is like a 3.9. This game I would say is about 3.5, 3.6 out of 5. The length of the game is about 20 minutes per player. We played the game in an hour, and that's because it was my first time playing. The teacher was going through the rule book for a bit, answering questions I had because I have a ton of random edge case scenarios. I had to ask so many icons because there's so many different icons and things to remember in that game. But if we played the game more than once, it'd be easily 20 minutes per player. And if you play it in a full 4-player player count, I expect your first game to be 2 hours, and the next game to be like 100. I don't know, that would be like 100 minutes or something like that. The aesthetics of this game, let's get into it. So the aesthetics are, this game is an interesting high quality component, small world cartoony vibe. If you don't see from my videos right here, the quality of the components is substantially high. We have acrylic pieces that look beautiful for the resources. You have wooden workers that are screen printed on both sides, and then you flip it over when you evolve them. You have the monsters, which are also like the nice thick wooden pieces. Very unique, very different, but appreciate it because it makes the game stand a lot more. The tiles feel nice. The player board that you get is dual layered and foldable, which makes it look significantly thick. When you open it up, it is overwhelming, but it's absolutely gorgeous. The double layer was, in my opinion, necessary for a game like this, considering how much stuff you can slot in there, and it keeps everything compartmentalized, which is so nice and so good to have in a base game. So yeah, it's so worth it. The look and quality of the game is so high. For the in-game details, we have the setup time, which is about 25 minutes, to be fully honest. If you're doing this game by yourself and you know what you're doing, I would say it's about 25 minutes. But if it's your first time doing it, I would say it's about 30, and you're doing it by yourself. Yeah, it would take me like 30, 40 minutes easily. But if you're experienced in setting up board games, I'd say it's about like 25. Because there's a lot of stuff. You have to put tiles in certain places, make stacks of resources. You have to put the player pieces out, put them in the right sections for the right kind of player count. And you have to get all the acrylic pieces out. You have to put the monsters on the board. You have to get all the tracks straightened out. You have to get the favor tokens. There's a lot of tiny little chits you can see all across this board that you have to set up. I felt bad for the teacher, Christian. Thank you so much again, Christian, for teaching me that game, that wonderful game, because I couldn't help with anything, and there's a lot to do, so I just didn't know what to do. The teach for this game is about 25 minutes if you're doing it all in, because there's so much to do. It feels like Arcs with the teach, in the sense that like you have a player handbook which has a lot of information inside of it. I opened it up and was immediately overwhelmed, so I closed it and didn't look at it for like half the game. You know, I definitely should have, because all the information you need is really in there. When you have a question about iconography, it's in there. When you have a question about what this does, it's in there. When you have a question about where you build your house, what do you do, it's in there. If you have any questions about, because the whole game, everyone knows Devir is an icon-based company. They focus on international sales, so they do a lot of icon, so you don't need to have any words on the game in order to play it, which comes with some confusion, but the player guides help substantially with this game. So yeah, there's lots to teach in this game, but it is not too crazy. It's like it's all just like, when you do this, do this. When you do this, do this. This lets you do this. Like, it's just a lot of specific sentences you have to make sure everyone grasps. Next, we have the mechanics. We have the three primary mechanics are worker placement, track bumping, and resource management. There are 3 different tracks in this game, not including your score. And the reason why I say your score, even though it might seem obvious, is because you can actually spend your score as resources in the game. Now, it's not one that you actually run out of by any means, unless you're really bad at this game, because you start with 5 points intentionally to use right away. I use my points the entire game because there's some things that really worked for me that was worth paying like 1 or 2 points for, and it worked out because I doubled my opponent's score effectively whenever I played the game. So the track, there's like 3 or 4 different tracks to bump, including your score. You have a ton of resources you have to manage. You only get like 2 to 4 at a time, but once you get good at the game, you can actually grab like all 5 if you really wanted to. And then resource, or the worker placement, even though it's a personal board that you're placing your workers on, it's very interesting because you each have 4 workers, and that's all you get the entire game. We each have 4 worker placement spots. That's all you get the entire game. Based on the strength of the worker you put on it, which at the start of the game you all get just 4 level 1 workers. So when you put a worker onto the spot, you can do a level 1 action. But every beer token you get rid of, you're able to do +1 strength to the action. So if I get rid of a 1 beer, I can now treat that as a level 2 worker. If I get rid of a +2 beer, I can use it as a level 3 worker, but you can only spend 1 token per worker. So you really have to pay attention to, when you gain a beer, do I want to combine them into 1 +2 beer, or do I want to keep them single and have a bunch of them for like slightly bumping up all my different workers? Additionally, whenever you gain ornaments in this game, because you actually imbue gems into your action selections, that can give you different benefits for each action selection, which is very interesting. Additionally, the only thing is you have 1 slot per action, so you can only do each action once in your turn, so it's all about when you do it. By forging new weaponry, you're able to inlay them inside your player board. So even though you only have 4 workers the whole game, if you wanted to like craft twice, or if you wanted to build homes twice in a row, you'd be able to by crafting or forging a weapon that allows you to get a new worker placement spot. And additionally, by building out weaponry in your personal player board, you actually get end game scoring conditions as well, which is pretty cool. I think this game is very well done in that regard. I've never seen a game where you can actually upgrade your own worker placement spots before and craft your own. And even though it is personal preference boards, you still have that issue of like, okay, I already put 1 worker there, where can I go next? Okay, I already have 1 worker there. Should I use this or should I use this? Which order should I get it done in? So it's pretty fun because also, even though it's worker placement on the player boards, there is like an area control-ish section in the middle of the game. When you there's a middle board where you're putting down buildings in order to get points, in order to get different benefits throughout the game, whether it's scoring through the ages, whether it's a personal end game objective, whatever it might be. When we gain certain types of these buildings, you have to gain them through filling out recipes on the left and right sides of the board, and in order to do that, it's first come first serve. So you have to pay attention, like maybe I am not able to get the right type of building I want right now, but I can get the other type of building if I want. Maybe I want to use overflow to pay to the king for potential 6 points at the end of the game. Maybe I want to go for this objective or this certain ability that the king has that allows me to do more things by the end of the game. It's a lot of stuff that you got to consider in this game. So even though, again, you only have your own worker placement spots, it's very interesting with how you go about using them based on how other people react to the main board. I would say what I liked about this game, or actually let's go with what the game feels like. The game really does feel like a bunch of dwarves just hanging out in a mine. Like, it really does feel like they're inside one. There's culture, you're all interacting and building one another, you're all fleshing out the village, you're all fighting the monsters, you're all going to the bar until you're utilizing them. You spend the beer in order to empower them. I really think the theme is dope. But the fun fact about this, and the reason I said Lord of the Rings was supposed to be the game, according to what I heard, the designer did an interview where it's supposed to take place after the 3rd Lord of the Rings movie, Return of the King, because the original theme were If you don't know, after the Return of the King, the Mines of Moria were then recolonized by the dwarves in the rightful land, and that was originally the theme for it. I'll also say this much: it's as a huge Lord of the Rings fan and a big fan of this game, I'm glad that the IP didn't get slapped onto it. Now, it would have been nice to have another Lord of the Rings IP. It really would have just boosted the price, and the price is $70. It would have been like 80, 85 if it had the IP on it. I don't know if I would have liked it. Also, like, I don't like cartoony art styles. I don't like whenever I would not like to see Lord of the Rings done in this cartoony small world art style personally. So I'm glad it wasn't attached to it. But that's the original thing. If it does feel like a bunch of mines hanging out, or a bunch of dwarves hanging out. It does feel very fantasy and how like you can go around doing whatever you want, just like dwarves typically do. But you're living in society as dwarves typically do, living off each other. Similar games, I have no idea. I don't know a single game that has track bumping and worker placement slots other than Dune, but this game feels nothing like Dune. So there's no similar game to this I know of. If you know anything where you craft your own worker placement spots and you affect other players with like a shared board, let me know. I would love to hear it in the comments below. Now let's go into what I purchased this game. And as you know, if you don't know, you always hear me say no. I'm a financially responsible guy. No, this game is not justified in my collection. But this game right here, even though it's $70 MSRP, which is a lot, if I had the extra cash for this, I definitely would buy it. Like, it's a resounding yes. I would get this game. I wouldn't even wait for a deal. A lot of times I say like, oh, it's 70, but you can find it for 65 or 60. This game's worth the $70. The quality of components is absurd. Such a high quality component. Such a fun gameplay, and I feel like this would be fun at any player count, but maybe it's only good at 2 and 4. Because having the same board set for 3 and 4 is interesting, in my opinion. But honestly, we had a small board for 2 players. We didn't even flesh out the mines, which is like such an easy thing to do. So it's very interesting with what the game encourages you to do, which is anything, but in what order things pop up. So you can do anything you want, and there's many different trials you can take to get to where you want to go. And then would I replay this game? Yes. Undoubtedly, yes. I would play it again. I want to play it again. I can't believe I'm only doing a video off the first time, but I would love to own this game. So Devir, if you want to send me a copy, you know where to find me. Now, for my ranking of this game, if you don't know, every single game I've ever reviewed, and then some, is ranked on a list between the number 1 being the best game I've ever played my entire life, and the lowest number being the worst game I've played my entire life. It's based off how much I like the game and how much I want to replay it. This game sits at number 19 out of 174, which is huge. This game is a new top 20 game easily. And it was really hard to place it. I knew for a fact it was an A game, which, for the record, this is above Shackleton Base, which I just reviewed, which is another worker placement game. This game is number 19, which means it's right underneath Planta Nubo, right above Blazon. It's an A tier game. I knew it was going to be an A tier game, because this game, I would say, is flawless, because every time I try to think of what I disliked about this game, which is why I wasn't even categorizing this video, is I really don't have anything to dislike about this game. This game is flawless in so many different ways. I like how much it works within each other. I like how much it's open-ended for you to do whatever strategies you want to go down, whatever you think is best for you. I like how it's nice that there's options. If you have a bad turn, you're able to make up for it, but with a pretty good turn. You can take some buffer turns in order to just bolster yourself. If you want to do something, it's not easy to do, but it's very rewarding. And I can replay this game many times based on the tile layout, based on the objectives, the end goal objectives I get, based on how far I want to bump up certain tracks, based on the monsters that come out, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of replayability in this game, a lot of variability, and I don't think any game would be the same twice in a row for me if I'm playing, even playing with the same people, as long as you reset the board, just because there's so many different goals you should go for. Like in this game, we had so many mithrils next to each other, which was nice at first and hurting me later on in the long run. So I really did think this game was very impressive. It was very good. It's right underneath Planta Nubo. Planta Nubo is just, I think it's better contention for the worker placement inside of it. And I think that with Recipe Fulfillment was better. Planta Nubo was overall just a better game than this one. Another Devir game, by the way. And with an art style I love and a theme that I very much enjoyed, where it's like, you know, making flowers and being a business. I like that. And it's right above Blazon. The reason why is because Blazon's a good game. It's not like a fantastic game. Truly, I might have to replay it because I don't know why it's this high in the leaderboard. It's a good game. It's nice pattern creation, and like and you're just like chaining some moves together. But overall, I don't think it's like, I don't think it could top this. I think that there's a jump between those two games personally, but it is an A tier game. Go ahead and subscribe if you liked what we talked about today. Like this video, like the video. We do a bunch of before you buy, a bunch of top 10s in board gaming, and also we're doing Kickstarter if you want to support what we do. Check out the comments and description of this video to go to our Kickstarter. We need 1,000 followers to hit our goal in February 2026, so let's go ahead and band together for this. But thank you so much. Please have a great day. God bless, and I hope to see you at the table soon.